Your favorite YouTuber, the person who has given you countless hours of entertainment, might not be who you think. Same room, same voice, same opinions that made you trust them, but lately they feel off. The edge is gone, the takes are safer, something's changed and you were never told. Behind the scenes, the channel was quietly snatched up. The videos, the backlog, even the audience, it's all part of the deal. On the surface, nothing looks different. If the person you trust is no longer in control of what you're seeing, what are you watching? This is how your favorite creators are owned by private equity. Chapter 1: The Stealth Buyout and the Enforcement Loophole. YouTube's feed has started to shift. What was once a deep and diverse mine of fascinating content started to feel a little shallower. Videos began to feel empty and repetitive. And hey, it's not like we're innocent. Sometimes you get tired and you think you understand the audience, and for a month they want the same thing nonstop. And then the next month they tell you that you only make one kind of video. Trust me, we remember the Russia-Ukraine war feelings. But anyways, titles became more clickbaity, thumbnails turned into a bland AI-generated mess. Creators who once seemed independent started saying the same things. It didn't happen all at once, it was gradual, almost impossible to notice unless you were really paying attention. Maybe your favorite creators just got lazy or sold out and started jumping onto trends. Maybe they started copying other channels rather than showing that same fun personality that made you a fan of them in the first place. The truth is much more sinister. The channels people loved and grew up with are being bought up by Wall Street. Private equity and other large investors have poured billions of dollars into buying out some of the biggest YouTube channels. Veritasium, Fireship, Fern, Donut Media, Economics Explained, Simple History, and History Hit are just a handful of creators that have been snapped up. Even kids' channels are part of the bargain, with the likes of Cocomelon and Blippi under the thumb of Blackstone, the biggest alternative asset manager on Earth. And those are just the deals we know about. They're not being treated like personal creative spaces anymore. They're being treated like media machines, cheap to run, easy to scale, built to grab attention, push ideas, and sell whatever stories or ideas their owners want to feed the masses. A number of financial and tech entities are in on this. Some of them you'll recognize, like Blackstone and Goldman Sachs. Others, maybe not. But they still have huge amounts of cash to splash around. The same playbook has already hit some of the world's most beloved brands, like Toys R Us, Sears, and Blockbuster. They take something that people trusted and turn it into a hollow entity, all in the name of profit. When it comes to YouTube, they're not just buying random content, they're buying familiarity, the faces you already know, the channels you already click without thinking, the routines you don't even realize you've fallen into. They're buying built-in audiences, demographics, the reasons why you watch. And they're not stopping at creators. They're taking entire libraries of content as well, years of videos, years of trust. This all happened without people even realizing what was going on, because the faces stay the same. And a lot of people still think the creator economy works the way it used to. A creator makes some videos, builds an audience, and earns money from the views. And all the while, they stay independent. At the highest level, those rules no longer apply, because those private equity firms realize something that should send a shiver down the collective spines of YouTube users. Buying loyalty is a lot easier than earning it. Say a company wants to sell you a product like a smartphone. They could do it the usual way, spend millions on marketing and pushing the message as hard as possible, but even then there's no guarantee it'll work. You might see it and still not care. But what if they bought the tech reviewer that you've trusted for the past decade? At that point, they don't need to convince you of anything. They don't need fancy marketing slogans or expensive ad slots. They have already convinced you. And here's the terrifying regulatory loophole that makes this whole thing possible. Usually, if a creator accepts to promote a product, they have to disclose it. They have to follow a set of guidelines enforced by the FTC and YouTube itself, among other authorities around the world. They have to put a paid promotion tag on their videos and disclose that they're promoting and advertising a product or service. We have all seen them: short clips, ads, sponsor segments. Even if you skip them, you know what they are. Whatever you think of them, they're upfront about it because they have to be. Platforms require it, or the content gets flagged or worse, taken down. But if a Wall Street firm buys up an entire YouTube channel and assumes full editorial control, they don't have to announce the buyout to the world. They can keep the new corporate ownership completely hidden. And while federal law technically requires them to use paid promotion labels if they use that creator to shill their products, enforcement is practically non-existent. They can bypass the rules skip the labels, and hope that they never get caught. The creator cashes the check, signs an NDA, and then goes right back to business as normal. Except it's no longer normal. The audience is none the wiser. They still think that they're supporting the same sort of one-person passion project. In reality, they're feeding a corporate entity. The whole thing is a lie. But one thing we do have to address is that not everyone who sold their channel did it because they wanted to exploit their audience and cash out. We don't know the circumstances or the decisions of the creators. Some might be exhausted and they just need to move on. Some might be deep in a financial hole and they need help. We don't know, and we're not gonna put the blame into those creators. They'll have their reasons. We're just trying to shine a light on the changing dynamics of the creator world and the content that's being consumed on YouTube. Chapter 2. The Enshittification Pipeline. When YouTubers set up their channels, they've got one goal in mind: to build and engage an audience. While the motivations might differ, the end goal is always the same: get people watching. It's all about subscriber count and viewership figures. Private equity firms don't see things the same way. For them, it doesn't matter what they're buying. The goal is always the same: buy it, grow it, sell it for more than they paid. And the industry might change, but the business model doesn't. They don't care about quality content. They're not interested in creativity, authenticity, or the community. All they care about is the bottom line. Most of the time, they'll pay around 3 to 5 times a channel's yearly earnings just to buy it outright, or they'll structure it differently. They'll take a majority stake, maybe 50 to 80%, while the original creator keeps the rest. That's often the better approach because at that point the creator isn't just a creator anymore, they're a shareholder in their own channel. And that changes everything. They're tied to the investment firm that bought them. They share the same interests to grow the channel and sell it for as much as possible. Either way, the control shifts. Investors need to find ways to increase both the amount of profit they generate and their overall values. You might think that a smart way to do that would be give the original creator the freedom they need to keep doing what they did that made them successful. The classic "if it ain't broke, don't fix it" approach, but that doesn't work for investors. They don't want slow, steady growth. They want rapid returns. They want costs cut to a minimum. They want optimization in every area. They don't just buy 1 or 2 channels, they buy a whole bunch of them. Records show that some of the biggest investment firms have purchased groups of channels, often with similar styles, audiences, or themes. Then they use a tried-and-true investment trick called multiple arbitrage. The way it works is simple. Firms roll up multiple entities into one big package. You could buy up 5 different YouTube channels, each making $1 million a year. Individually, each one will sell for around $3 to $5 million. But when you combine them under one owner, they're no longer just separate channels. They become a portfolio. And that portfolio can sell for far more, sometimes close to 10 times the combined earnings. And the craziest part of all, it doesn't even matter if the content is good. In fact, it can get noticeably worse. The channels can even lose some of their audience, but they still make insane profits for their investors because Wall Street cares more about scale than soul. And that's where the next piece of the puzzle comes into play: saturation. The channels start creating more content, fewer breaks, more videos every week. If a creator is making $10,000 a week on one video, investor logic means that they could be making $70,000 a week with 7 videos instead. And at that point, the creator isn't really deciding anymore. It's no longer about what they think their audience will enjoy. It's about making videos that are proven to perform. It's not about being unique or creative anymore. It's about latching on to trends, riding hype trains, giving the masses what the data says they want. This is where the rot sets in and the Enshittification Pipeline takes hold. Investors look at how the creator's channel is actually built, the researchers, the writers, and editors who shape every video, the designers who built the visual identity over time. To them, this isn't a close-knit creative team. It's overhead, and overhead gets cut. Videos that were once carefully researched and painstakingly pieced together by people who cared about the end result are now churned out by content mills or generative AI models. Why pay a researcher to uncover interesting trends and topics when you can just ask AI to generate a listicle for you in seconds? All of a sudden, a channel is producing more videos. That might have once been a good thing, welcomed by its audience. Instead, viewers are left wondering what went wrong, because as the quantity increases, the quality declines. Those wonderfully researched and flawed yet unique videos they fell in love with have gone, and in their place is little more than AI-generated slop. Videos that are just about good enough to keep people watching long enough to see the ads and the promos, but leave the audience feeling empty. You can see it in the before and after of some of your favorite channels. That tech reviewer or drama channel that you loved had texture, soul, life. It wasn't perfect, no one is, but the content itself made up for all that. It was original, it was real. Ideas and videos that were crafted with care, presented by people who took pride in what they were making. Then, this new version came along, and the flaws are fixed. The look changes, suddenly becoming a little too slick, too clean. What once felt like a glimpse into someone's private world now feels staged. Videos no longer feel discovered, but manufactured. Commentary becomes lifeless. And the part that hurts the most is that the audience can see this happening. They can tell that something has changed, but they're not quite sure what or why. Some even blame or gaslight themselves. Maybe they've grown out of a creator that they once loved, or that their tastes have changed. Often, that's not the case. It's not just you, and it's not just in your head. Your favorite creators have gotten worse, and it's not because anyone got older or changed their style, it's because these independent creators have been absorbed into corporate machines, leaving their audiences alone and confused. Chapter 3 – The Editorial Hijack. If this were all just about boring videos, that would be annoying, but not exactly a crisis. Unfortunately, that is not the case. AI slop and lower quality content aren't the end result of the whole process, they are just byproducts. The real danger isn't that you have to sit through videos that are barely half as entertaining as they used to be, wondering why your favorite creator seems so soulless all of a sudden. The real danger is how these videos and creators are being used. And it's happening right now on your YouTube and social media feeds. Once investors own the creator, they don't just own the channel, they also influence what gets made and what doesn't. Topics get filtered, edges get softened, ideas never make it to upload. We're already seeing this in local news channels in the US. Big corporations are buying up small stations and shaping their output. They are scripting segments, standardizing messages, and pushing centrally produced commentary into local broadcasts. And it reaches millions of homes. You are being told what to listen to. Most viewers never notice the shift. John Oliver famously broke this down in a now viral clip. Dozens of local anchors from network affiliates across the country read the exact same news script word for word. That's the fear. That is the end goal. Because once content is owned at scale, it stops being independent, even if it feels personal and familiar. Massive investment firms aren't held to the same level of visibility as individual creators, which means acquisitions can happen quietly. They can take over your favorite channels and shape what that channel becomes, from the topics and the tone to the direction it takes. They are the ones bankrolling it, so they have a say. Think about the power that the big YouTubers have. Followers can hang off their every word, follow their opinions, and make decisions based on what they say. Once Wall Street is involved, certain stories could get amplified, others could quietly disappear. Once firms hand YouTubers a big money deal and a non-disclosure agreement, there is nothing legally stopping them from telling those creators exactly what to say. These aren't just any firms. They're big private equity firms like Blackstone and have their hands in everything: healthcare, real estate, energy, even the military. If a firm controls a network of so-called independent YouTube channels, collectively reaching tens or even hundreds of millions of people, they don't need to buy news stations, they already have distribution. They can shape what gets seen, what gets repeated, and what reaches mass audiences in the first place. And it all happens through channels that still look completely independent on the surface. Chapter 4 – The Death of the Indie Web. This isn't what YouTube was supposed to be. It was once a site where anyone with a camera could effectively run their own personal TV channel, and for a while that all worked. YouTube didn't just challenge conventional media, but it largely overtook it. People began watching their favorite creators over tuning into cable stations. Individuals who started off as nobodies became somebodies. Audiences formed communities and they followed their favorite creators, eager to see what interesting ideas they'd come up with next. It was all built on authenticity, real people, real ideas, real feelings. But private equity firms are taking that away from us. The bedroom creator has become an endangered species. Thumbnails are now designed by committee. Video ideas come from analytics. Sometimes even AI. Scripts are shaped by marketers and personalities become brand assets. YouTube starts to look like the thing it was supposed to replace. And now, every time you feel a connection with a creator, every time you think what they're saying is honest or personal or real, there is something else sitting behind it. Investors, incentives, profits. They may not be visible, but they're always there, and they're shaping what gets made and why. At the end of the day, you might not care. If the content stays the same and it doesn't influence anyone's opinion, why should you? It's entertainment. It's no different from going to the theater to watch a Marvel movie. We do need to say the infographic show is 100% independent, and we always have been. We're financed by the ads you see, by the sponsors that we mention in the videos, and by the members of the channel. Can we say it'll be like this forever? We definitely hope so, but YouTube is changing. Who knows where it'll be in a few years' time? Honestly, we might not even have this job by then. AI slop is taking over the platform. We make a video and 1,000 more appear within hours, and they're all AI generated. Our scripts get regurgitated. AI is faster than animation. We're competing for views with every AI slop channel. Do we use no AI in our production? No, we can't say that. We use it as a tool, not a replacement. We use it to change text on a thumbnail, where before it would need the producer to have Photoshop experience. We use it to auto-generate sheets, so our directors can break down a script. We use it to upscale a video from normal HD to 4K, so it's more TV-friendly. But our research, our writing, our animation, everyone's favorite voiceover, that's all 100% human. We can't predict how things will evolve. We can only see where things are going. But the worst part of it all is this doesn't stop at YouTube. It's part of a much bigger system, one that touches everything from the food we eat, to the clothes we wear, to the information we're shown every day. If you want to understand how deep it really goes, you can find out in Secret Rich Families Controlling the Economy, or watch this video instead.